Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I'm so happy to join each and every one of you today on the Village Radio Talk Show. Uh, my name is Roderick Daly. I am your host, and with me, who has so much better lighting, is our co-host John Sampson, Dr. John Sampson. Where we're dedicated to empowering the community to
Yes.
live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. So, John, I want to start off
Yes,
with
my brother.
you're fading. Whatever music is playing, I'll say your phone is ringing or something in the background. All right. Um, I'm excited, John. I'm excited. I'm excited about many things. But first, before I do anything else, I want to wish my brother a happy birthday, Jermaine Cameron. His birthday was yesterday. So I'm excited to see it, see what's going on, and celebrate his birthday with him. All right. So happy birthday, Jermaine. And next week we have a lot of birthdays, but we won't be on air. So happy birthday, Marlene. Happy birthday um, as well to my cousin Marlene in England. So I'm saying it beforehand because next week is the big Thanksgiving. So talk to me, Mr. Sampson. Donald Trump appointed Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. All right. As soon as I ask him a question, ladies and gentlemen, he disappears. So it's just you and I for now until he gets back. But but he appointed Matt Gaetz, who is one of his avid supporters from Florida, a very conservative. I forgot what they call that group of Republicans, John. Um,
He
in
was
the
a firebrand.
no, that's not the name that they call them. They call them a different name. Um, but anyway, he was on that wing of Republican, got rid of McCarthy. Trump rewarded him by by giving him um, the attorney general's position. He quickly left Congress to join the cabinet. But here's what I find to be funny, John. Why did DeSantis call a special election for him so fast? Especially since
Why?
he was, yeah, why he called it so fast like he has no chance. I wonder if he would run again for the congressperson position because he
He could
resigned.
run if he decided to run again.
Yeah. So you think he's going to run again?
I don't think he's going to run again. I think Trump is going to give him a position in his administration that he doesn't have to go through confirmation.
That's probably what's going to happen.
If I was anybody, I would hire him as I would bring him in on as a consultant in one of my lobbying firms in Washington D.C. so he can make a cool $1 million a year.
Mm. Right. Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Or he could make it a deputy where he doesn't need confirmation.
True. But it just shows you how much juice he has with the president. So he can parlay that into making a lot of money on the outside.
Yeah, I thought that it was beyond interesting that happened because
Let me
I'm
tell you
like,
something. The DOJ was afraid of Matt Gaetz coming in.
why?
He would have blew everybody up.
Do you think so?
I'm positive he would have.
I don't know. I don't know, John.
I think he would have blown everybody up. He would have came in there. All those longtime people over there, they would have been jumping through hoops. Which I think the DOJ does need a overhaul. I believe they have become very political. They have their own political agendas. That was exhibited even during the Trump's first term, when you talk about those FBI agents and the comments that they made and things like that. So they're very, very political, and the things that they do and the ways in which they do things, it's very disheartening. And what's interesting, I see nobody ever, how these wrongful convictions, I wonder how many federal wrongful convictions they are.
Yeah, I think a lot.
Yep, I think a lot too.
But here's the other thing that I kind of don't want him to be in power. And here's some of my thoughts, John.
Don't want who to be in power?
Matt Gaetz.
Right.
I think that the Attorney General should be an independent appointee. Here's why. If you're appointed by the President of the United States of America, you're loyal to the President of the United States of America and not necessarily to justice. If you're to go against the President of the United States of America, right, you must show that the President has to do something beyond egregious for you to file anything against the President. And it's going to become a political warfare. And so whoever gets into the office now as the President appointee is going to go against the Democratic flag. They're going to try to get Joe Biden incarcerated. They're going to try to get
Roger, you're all speculating. That's how the Attorney General would do. You're speculating.
Again, remember, they're working at the bidding of the President. Because if they don't,
yeah. But when Trump got in the first time, he didn't go after Hillary, did he?
But there's nothing to go after Hillary with.
Well, he didn't do no further investigations in that whole thing. In the emails, he didn't do further investigation.
Listen, John, all I can go by is this: the word of a man. That's all I can go by. I can only go by the word of a man.
Right.
If the man states that I plan to do, retribution is on his list of things to do. Correct?
Roderick.
Yeah.
The people spoke.
See, there's a difference.
Roderick, the people spoke. This is who they wanted the president.
I agree.
So if the president decides to do that, this is what the American people wanted. So be it.
No, I'm not saying no, John. That's not my argument. My argument
You're saying that he may go after retribution. He may do this. He may do that. We're all speculating.
No. I'm not. He said all I can do is go by what he says, right? However, what I'm saying, is that the DOJ, which is supposed to be the Department of Justice, DOJ, should not be justice in the eyes of the president. I don't think it should have been in the eyes of.
So it should be justice in the eyes of those in the DOJ who may have their own political agenda.
Correct, in a way.
So how do we deal with that? Those who have their own political agenda and those who have weaponized the DOJ. So what do we do?
My thing would be, John, in all honesty, I don't know how we do it, but it's kind of like the American people elect the Attorney General, right? Just like they elect the president.
Then it will be more political than that, my brother.
So you think, okay, you were running for, you ran in 2000, a little bit 2000 something, right? For DA, for Brooklyn
right,
DA.
2005.
2005, you ran for Brooklyn DA. You ran under the Democratic caucus,
yep.
Right? You lost to the sitting, the incumbent, by a few points.
Correct.
You feel that even though you ran as a Democrat, you'll be partial to Republicans?
I would be impartial,
Exactly.
and I represent the people. So
That's
those are who are my clients.
That's my point. You get what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but however, if Kathy Hochul says, John, I'm appointing you the Brooklyn DA,
Right.
right? That means in some cases, because if you don't do what she likes, she can remove you and place somebody else who's willing to do what they want, what she wants. Like, for example, right? A good example is the average New York City person does not want the congestion pricing. Let's say,
Right.
right? Let's say you're supposed to bring up a case, right? You're supposed to bring up a case against the governor for inappropriate behavior.
Right.
If she appoints you, you're going to be reluctant to bring up that case because you know.
No, I wouldn't be reluctant. I mean, I'm independent. Although I was appointed.
You're breaking up. John? John?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, go ahead and speak. I'm listening.
So what are you saying? You're trying to be because I got appointed by somebody?
Say that again.
You're saying impartial because I got appointed. You're saying that I can't be impartial because I got appointed by somebody? I think that's not. That's an assumption. That's an incorrect assumption.
So if you know that I know that if my job is on the line, I'm going to think about what I am going to present to the American people. Because correct. I know, right? I know that factually speaking, right? Factually speaking, I can be moved tomorrow. Tomorrow, right. The President of the United States will say, hey, I asked you to do this. You didn't do it. You're gone. Right. Mr. President, we don't have any legal grounds to do this. Oh, I don't care. Find one. You're gone. Say hi, Amani.
Hi.
Say hi. Hi, villagers.
Hi.
Hi, villagers.
Hi.
Villagers.
Mm-hmm.
Villagers. And say hi to Dr. Sampson. Say hi, Dr. Sampson.
Hi.
Sampson.
Yeah.
All right. Say I'm Uncle Roderickson. That's you on TV.
Yeah.
You want to see yourself on TV? Go give me the remote. Go get me the remote.
Oh.
I'll show you yourself on TV.
Oh, the remote.
Yes, the remote. Come. I'll show you on TV. Come. So that's kind of like half of what the point is. I'm not saying that in most cases he would not be fear. Right. I'm saying that in many cases he would think about, right? He would think about who's his boss. Right? There you go. Look at yourself.
What is that?
Look at yourself on TV. Look, you're on TV.
What are you doing?
Look, wave.
Hi.
Look at yourself on TV. You see yourself on TV?
Mm.
Yep.
You're the father.
Yes, that's you on TV. Right? And so this is my great great nephew Amani. He's spending a month with me and keeping my company and trying to keep me young again.
No.
Yeah, right, John.
Got to, man.
I try to run after him today. That crap didn't work out. So that's my biggest issue. Now he appointed Paul Bondi, Pam Bondi, who is obviously a average supporter of him, and very right wing and very hard knock. And so what what scares me? No, don't touch. You can't touch anything. What scares me about these postings and these appointments, not postings, right? So far, this is what the American people decided, like you said. They decided it by voting, or they decided it by staying away from voting, right? So either way, you made the decision to live with whatever is happening, correct? So to do nothing is to do something. And I kind of have to remind, that reminds me at the board meeting on Tuesday, my board meeting. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So what happened at the board meeting on Tuesday?
No, I'm gonna have to inform people of that decision, because many people are upset that Donald Trump is the president, right? But they decided, for whatever reason, they were not going to support Kamala, so they were going to stay out of the race. Now they're upset about the choices that Donald Trump has made. And I'm like, I don't want to hear from you. Right? I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you because you chose not to vote. You chose not to interact with voting. So don't complain. Don't get nervous. And like I said to you, John, at the beginning, I feel so a man speaketh. So a man speaketh, so are his intentions. Right? So if he speaks to try to denaturalize American citizens, we can't continue to say he cannot. We can continue to say it will be very difficult, but he's putting things, what people don't understand is that he's putting things into place to make that happen. That's what he's doing. Right-wing conservatives, the courts, right? He has Congress. He has the Senate. So he has, and I think you pointed out, he has 18 months to try to get those things done. I want to talk about
before the midterm.
Right. The point that people don't understand is he's going to try to push many things, because the reality of the situation is the American people are not going to be happy with many things that he does. And it goes for both parties, by the way. Right? It goes for both parties. This is not a partisan conversation. It happened to Barack Obama.
Right.
In 2008, he had both the Senate and the Congress. And by 2010, he lost both of them. Right? So it's not a partisan conversation. That's normally what happens. Unless the American people love what is happening, they're going to make changes. Right? And
correct.
So the reason what I was saying, we have a vote coming up on Tuesday on an issue at the board, and I have to remind people that you either have to vote yes or no, because an abstention is like saying I want President Trump elected. Or
what's the issue at the community board?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you that on air. I can tell you off air, but I can't tell you on the air. Right? But it's one of those issues that is tearing the board apart. basically. And we had to go to the executive session too. But I'll tell you off here. We'll talk about it. But a lot of the board members, the reason why I'm bringing it up is like a lot of the board members like to abstain from votes.
Right. Not get involved.
Not again, I don't want to be involved, but you have to make a decision. Like, I'm going to say, if you plan to abstain, might as well you let us lose quorum. Right. Might as well let us lose quorum if you plan to abstain. Because your no vote or no or yes. Right. Give us a definitive answer. Because the yes vote has to offset the abstentions and the no votes together, or the no votes have to offset the abstentions and the yes votes.
Okay.
Right. So they have to learn that abstaining from things, it being indecisive is not always the best answer.
True.
You know, I spoke to Yvette today, Congresswoman Clark. You know,
What's her assessment about this whole thing?
She is concerned in certain areas. We're analyzing what happened. And one of the things that we talk about is, you know, white woman didn't come out and vote.
What does she think happened?
I'm telling you, like, we lost a lot of the white women who did come out and vote for Kamala. You know, there were some issues there. Like she mentioned, for example, Janet Jackson saying that she didn't know Kamala was black, which is kind of stupid. And I think it's Kamala's fault, right? I think that Kamala, I told, you know, Congresswoman Clark that, you know what? She should have embraced her blackness. She spoke about her Indian mother and her Indian heritage all the time. But she doesn't speak about her Jamaican black heritage at all. She doesn't speak about like she went back to Jamaica. Yes, my father and I, my mother and I, my wife and I, my this and I, but this is who I am. You get what I'm saying? So your relationship with the person might not be the greatest, but still,
Right.
I am. But she never did that, right? She never did that, right? And I actually wanted to hear that from her in her stump speeches, right? I'm proud of, because she went to Jamaica numerous times, visited her family in St. Anne. Okay, your father was a jerk, but you're black.
Right. So, Roger, what does that have to do with anything?
I think that I heard it a lot because, you know, she doesn't identify with her blackness. I heard that a lot. And so the other thing that Congresswoman Clark and I spoke is that
Trump don't identify with Hispanics, and they voted for him. Trump doesn't identify with African Americans, but some of them voted for him.
No. There's a difference. There's a difference.
What's the difference?
Trump is white.
So Kamala's black. So we didn't come out and vote, man. Bottom line.
She doesn't say that, John.
Roger, that ain't have nothing to do with nothing. You come out there and vote. I'm not going to vote because of the skin of your color. It's the policies. She was not too in depth with her policies.
you remember your colleague in Senate, Liz Kruger?
Yes.
I was doing a campaign for Liz Kruger when she just got elected. And I don't remember the year, right? I think it's about 2004.
I remember.
While I was in Manhattan doing the campaign for Liz Kruger, somebody said to me, right? Somebody said to me, I am not voting for Liz Kruger because she's fat.
Mhm.
That's it. Those are the exact words.
That shows
Right.
how shallow that person is.
Very shallow, extremely shallow.
Right.
Not voting on the issue. She's too fat. It shows that she has no self-control, and I'm not voting for her. Not what, maybe the woman has lupus. Maybe the woman has, some kind of illness that causes her to have weight gain. You don't know that.
Right.
But on the external appearance,
Right.
I'm not voting for her because she's fat. Going back to the black comment.
Right.
Going back to the black comment.
So I'm not voting for you because you're not black enough.
No, I'm not voting for you because even though you're black, you don't identify yourself and state that I'm
So
black.
Roger, that's why we have Trump. That's it. Let him deal with it.
Exactly. Right.
If you're gonna be so shallow about that, then let him deal with it.
Stupidest things. I heard people.
Roger, it's all about excuses. It's excuses.
I agree, John. I'm not voting for her because I don't think a woman could lead. The hell are you talking about?
And then women lead every single day, taking care of their children, taking care of the family. Give me a break.
I don't understand. And women were saying that.
Yeah, that's why I don't. Honestly, man, I don't need to hear that bullshit. To me, that's bullshit.
I agree. I'm like, what are you talking about? The woman is very qualified. She's shown her leadership, and you're going to tell me that because she's a woman, she can't lead? I don't understand. But what I'm saying to you, John.
But you want to chase that woman around and get what she has to offer you. That's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. So here's my point to my conversation.
Right.
That and I were talking about. These little things added up to ultimately her losing the race. Now, everybody who had those, like what do you call it? Narrow opinion, shallow opinion? What did you call it? Shallow opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to feel the wrath of that shallow opinion. You're going to feel the wrath of your stupidity. You're going to feel the wrath of your bigotry. You're going to feel the wrath of your racist behavior. You're going to feel the wrath of your sexist behavior.
Right.
Right. I was reading something today. I don't know if you had gotten a chance to read it. It was in our group chat regarding the effects of the tariff. What people don't understand who are looking forward to this tariff is that, and I've explained this multiple times, right, is that any tariffs that are charged to foreign goods is passed on to the customer.
Right.
So you're saying, yes. First of all, American goods are far more expensive than foreign goods.
That's true.
Right? All right. It's far more expensive. Right? And there are reasons. There are reasons for that, right? In America, people have what you call fringe benefits. They have 501ks.
What fringe benefits you talking about, my brother?
Well, they have 501ks, 401ks, or 403bs, retirement plan.
Financial fringe benefit.
Right. They have higher base salary. Right.
Right.
So naturally, the cost of American goods are higher than outside goods, because outside of the United States, especially in third world countries, the cost of labor, or the pay for labor, is significantly less. Right?
True.
So being that it's significantly less, that is also passed on to the consumer. So if
Right.
you give a larger tariff, that means that now the labor that that country people get is still the same. So the government says, I'm charging 10% for Walmart to have this vacuum, right? Walmart pays the government that 10% for the goods, the tariff. That's what a tariff is.
Right.
Tariff is a
Right.
tax on foreign goods.
Right.
What Walmart
Right.
will do,
Which
and
they will
I'll
pass on to the consumers here.
right. So what they will take now, so the
Oh, you
vacuum,
listen to the video, Roderick?
yeah, what they'll take, but that's what it is. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
explanation.
it's true. And he did give pros too. But
Yes.
go ahead.
Well, the pros,
The
with
cons
tariff-
outweigh, I think. The cons outweigh, because inflation would ultimately rise up back again. But
Exactly.
Continue.
and no, but the fact is that one of the ways to offset the rising cost of tariff is to lower the cost of American goods. But the greed from the CEOs and the higher ups, they're not going to take a pay cut. They want those millions of dollars, so they're not going to lower their price of their goods. And so we at square one, right? People are like, yeah. Let's tax goods coming in so we can work on American goods. That sounds good on paper.
Sounds
But-
good. But executing in reality,
You're breaking up, John.
I said it doesn't work that way in reality.
Right?
You hear me?
Yeah, that is true. Right? Right. And people have to I love these stump speeches without explanation. Right? I love the stump speeches that they give without explanation. Right? Explain what it means when you're gonna what effect does it have on American people? The positive of a tariff is that people might buy more American goods, right? If the prices are close. Because now you're going to see American
Right.
made. But
Mhm.
you still might not get them to buy American goods because, again, America says it's $16.50 an hour to do something. That's the minimum wage, ladies and gentlemen. If you still charging $16.50 an hour, and fringe benefits, again, are benefits that you pay that might not directly be seen on your income that a company has to pay. Accidental, what is called, we call it injury at work. What do you call that? Workers' comp, right? They have to pay that. They have to pay, like I said before, like your 401k, your retirement plan, pay into it. They have to pay your part of your Social Security, and among
Right.
other things that they have to pay. So if they compete with foreign countries at the same wages, then they can compete with the prices. But America says we have to make more. Right? So,
'Cause we are the growth engine, man. Growth engine.
right. But like we said, John, at the onset, you voted or you didn't vote.
Yep.
And these are the situations that we have at hand. I also, in talking to my cousin, I want to bid her congratulations as well, John. She has no opponent up against her, and she will be our next chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. So big things are going.
Who's that?
Yvette Clarke.
Who's that?
You don't know,
Congratulations, Congresswoman.
you don't know who our big esteemed Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. So congratulations to
I
her.
know who our Congresswoman is, definitely. Congratulations. Kudos to her.
Yeah. So she was explaining
Kudos
to
to
me.
her.
So God's willing, if I can make it next year, I would love to go to Washington to go and support her at the next event.
Yeah, man. I think Washington, we did enough about Washington. You know, Donald Trump's time. It's Trump time. What's going on here in the city, my friends? What's going on?
So
What about that mentally ill guy?
Before we get to the city, there's one other thing. One other thing before we get to that on the Donald Trump issue is that the Manhattan DA, do you agree with this, John? The Manhattan DA agrees to postpone Donald Trump's sentencing in hush money case, but it opposes dismissal. What do you think? Before we get to the city, then we get right to the city.
You know, I would do this. I would have done the same thing for him to save face. You went through all that whole prosecution, and all of a sudden it should be dismissed. So you know what? Stay execution of the sentencing until he completes his presidency. And by that time, we'll be lost interest in all. So the judge won't even won't even think twice about it.
Won't give it. That's what I'm thinking too. Like, is a way to save face. And Trump was removing the attorney, the federal person from New York, correct? He planned to remove whoever this is what I'm talking about, John. Where he's planning on removing the federal DA.
Removing who?
The federal district, Manhattan federal district attorney. I don't remember the name.
He's removing him?
Yeah.
You mean Damian Williams?
Yeah, he's going to remove him.
Mm-hmm.
And
all of them are going to be removed.
But that's the point of what I'm getting at. When we spoke earlier, right? When I said that if you're not doing the bid of the president, you're gone, even if you're doing a great job. And that's what I was talking about earlier when I said,
you know what, Roger?
Should be independent. Yeah.
When you bring it, you're bringing your own people, man.
Yeah, but I also don't think that you should remove people if they're doing a good job. But that's the point. So
I'll bring in my own people.
Let's get to the city. The first thing going on in the city is that Jessica Tisch, right, has now been appointed
police commissioner.
Right? What do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
I think a fine selection. She was running the sanitation department fine. She has the ability, so give her opportunity. What do you think, Andre?
Wait, can you repeat again?
I said, what do you think about Jessica Tisch becoming the next police commissioner? You lost for words?
I mean, I'm not against it, I guess. Like, tell me more.
She was the commissioner of the sanitation department. She comes from a well-known family, a well-known wealthy family, the Tisch family. Her father owns, her uncle owns the one of the owners of the New York Giants. I think her mother was very involved into education. She was on the board of regents, Albany.
I mean, it seems
so
like
she comes from a very political and wealthy background.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, it seems like she has a bit of a familiarity.
Who can do the job, man? That's it.
Huh? You say what now?
You want somebody who can do the job. You want someone who can do the job.
That's really it. I mean, she was
Mhm.
she was also there for a 17-year veteran, civil roles in the NYPD. So there's some experience there. Um,
Right.
but I mean, I haven't seen like what she's able to do. There also, I guess, it's just like, okay, let's see what you can do. In a sense, that's really it.
Right. Management style. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now we kind of make some sort of conclusion. It's similar to what we did when, like, I mean, um, Kamala and Biden, and I mean, we knew what Trump was gonna be like too. We also see Obama when he was senator. We kind of see some of the things that he did and
Hmm.
what he would be like when he
Right.
became president. So those were some things that kind of like you say you hold. How you put it? I have some idea, but I'm going to see how you do before I make some conclusions. So that's
Mm.
that's what I think. I'm I don't know much. I don't jump into politics up like that, but I do have to understand a bit of it to see how the finances work. So there's that right there.
Understandable.
Like all right now, um, people are going, on a craze about Bitcoin itself, running up to 100K, and considering what's his name, Donald Trump in office, saw videos. He wasn't
Right.
for it. He wasn't for it back in
Even
2021.
TikTok now.
Yeah,
Even TikTok now.
yeah. So it could be him just saying it because he knew a lot of people was for it, and that also could have, allow him to get the people's vote. So he just started jumping onto it, and it took off. That's really what
Hmm.
happened. So that's essentially, in a sense, kind of like my foray, my forte. Um,
Hey, also,
but
did you see about the killing spree that homeless man did started on the west side and wound up on the east side?
I didn't even see that.
Yep. Stabbed 3 innocent bystanders.
That's crazy. I didn't even see that. Um, hold on.
And then the people arrested in the Daniel Penny case.
The people who what now?
The people arrested in the Daniel Penny case in Manhattan.
There's a lot of this. There's so much of that. The Daniel
The
Penny
Daniel
case.
Penny case is the guy that choked the guy in the train.
I don't think I kept up with that one either.
I didn't keep up with that one.
Marine,
That's
Mhm.
the one, John. Is that the one that choked the guy in the train?
Yeah, the Penny case.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Well, do you think they're gonna take him down?
I don't think so. I don't think so. All that's going on in the subways and this and that, people are like, I wish somebody was there for me.
Yeah. So he actually took the stand.
Right.
Right. That's actually shocking for a defendant to take the stand. Generally, they say that
Tell
a
them
defendant,
don't. Nope, not at all. Right.
right?
Hmm.
Like generally, it's going to be they feel like that he's going to lose the case for him to take the stand. That means it doesn't look good, right? But hopefully, I'm torn with it. I personally am torn with right. I'm personally torn because at the end of the day, many people, right? Many people could say, many people can say that he acted heroically, right?
He
He
acted
act,
heroically, yes.
right, and
Is Is this the Daniel Penny case you're talking about still?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
He acted heroically to make things happen for our city, right? Our to, you know, in a way, you know, to defend what's going on. Two, it was in the height of scary, right? It was in the height of scary, meaning that they kept talking about all of these issues that were happening on the subway, all of these issues that were happening to people, to our city,
So
and nervousness, right? So they created fear. Yeah, John, you were saying.
So wait, hold on a second there. Like, let me just jump in real quick. So, in regards to this case and the heroicness, so John asked me about the police commissioner, and my thing really is like going back to results and like seeing what they can do. My concern is more so is like, are you going to do better? Are you going to make sure like, you know, things like safety or you know, unfairness is not a thing that shadows or put your be the main thing of your career. Like, are you going to do better? So, and sometimes I would hear like certain, you know, who's become leader and everything, and I'm just like, I want to see your results. You know, it's like that's the main thing, because as John even highlighted, they just want somebody to manage. They just want somebody to be put in the position there. You know, as we see how a lot of leaders have been, and I'll speak from the educational standpoint. Really, you know, we'll see like a super getting put in position, or a principal getting position, or if something happens at their school, they might be placed somewhere else. So it's just like expendability. But my concern is always like, we gotta, as educators, we still gotta make sure that the students are our number one concern and they're taught. But even more important is it going to be different? Is it going to be better? You know, a lot of what I mean, I've seen where it's not necessarily better. In some places, I see better. So I just wanted to make that point. See, Benev says most people that are appointed aren't qualified to do the job.
I like to call Benev our village pessimist.
Yeah, I mean, it's money. There's a lot of
Right.
money in these.
I don't know that Benev, right? I don't know that to be true.
Maybe not
I
most,
think-
but there's a lot.
I think, you know, one of the things, one of the biggest things about the police commissioner job and those high level position, they really don't run the department, right? Most of those people don't run. It's probably the 4-star chief who does most of the running of the department, right? The one that is staying there, right? And so they have to, like you said, Andre, manage the paperwork, the money. Where's the money going? Are people getting employed? What are the issues that we want to attack? So the mayor wants to attack, for example, crime on the subway, right? The commissioner is supposed to carry that out. So now the commissioner will reallocate resources. The chief is the one that strategically will do the job, right? Let's say our crimes in schools, right? What's the crimes around schools? The head of the school division will be sitting in a meeting with the commissioner asking, what do you want to make this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're there to manage.
That's it.
Right? They're there to manage. So that's one of the issues that we have to resolve. You know, I have to make 2 announcements before I forget, and Andre, I have to send you both of them. I have to send you both of them to put up on the air. One is Saturday. this Saturday, there's a health fair component put on by Assembly Member Monique Chandler Waterman. It's going to be in Brooklyn, everybody. So you're going to have that's tomorrow, Saturday. As you say, in Jamaica, 11 to 8, you have the mental health workshop. 1 to 2:30, you'd have a turkey giveaway if you're registered. And then 2:30 to 4:30, you would have performances by Busta Rhymes right here in our backyard. So if you're able to attend, that would be great and phenomenal for all of you to come out and support that event on Saturday, November 23rd. On a Monday, I don't know the date, right? I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it's another. So the last food stand was very successful, and so they're doing another one at My 11, right? At My 11, you go to the food stand, and get fresh food, right? Get your fresh food. Andre will put them up when we're going to do commercial in a few, right? All right. So going back to Benev's point, John, that we were discussing, it's do you have the ability to manage? And she was doing a decent job in managing at the sanitation, would you say?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Right. So that's not an issue. Going back to Danielle Penny, I'm concerned generally in a case when a defendant has to go on the stand. John, you're an attorney. Would you agree? What's your thought on it?
I thought on what? For what?
That he actually took the stand in his own trial.
Did he take the stand yet?
He took the stand there. Yeah, he took the stand. Right. In
this instance,
you're breaking up, John.
I think in this instance, I think it was good. I think in this instance, I think it was a good idea.
So they called him to the stand. They called 2 Marine sergeants who served in, they called his mother, his sister, and his other friend. And they provided positive character references about him on the stand.
I think he gets acquitted. I think he gets acquitted.
In a way, I kind of hope he does. Or get a slap on the wrist. Right? Or get a slap on the wrist. I don't think...
Roderick, everybody can play Monday morning quarterback until they're put into that position. And, perfect example, Roderick. Perfect example is what happened this week with a young homeless man stabbed and killed those 3 people. I think it was Monday or Tuesday morning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's my point. That's what I'm getting at. Right. You're 100% correct, John. Right. Again, thank you, villagers, for joining us on The Village. All of you are out there. Thank you for your comments. Hey, Jennifer, I didn't see your comment earlier. How you doing? As well.
Jennifer, where my turkey?
You want a raw turkey or you want a cooked turkey.
I want a raw turkey.
All right. I like to assemble a member to do it. So yeah, I do understand. I do think I wish he would be acquitted. I understand that he killed a young black man and he's a white man, but let's all be fair, right? It's not about white nor black. It's about this situation, right? Look at this.
Coming to the aid of people when you think when they need it. I mean, it's unfortunate. This young homeless, this homeless man this week killed those 3 people like that, man.
Yeah. So if his
That was heartbreaking, man.
If the defensive attorney is good, he tried to find a way to bring that into his closing argument, right? Or bring that up and say, hey, this is the situation. This is life. This is what we happen. This is the unfortunate
This
reality.
is what we're up against. We're up against.
Yeah.
A young homeless man comes across, stabs one guy on one side going to work, goes on the east side, stabs another guy, goes near the United Nations, stabs a woman who later on succumbs to her injuries. This is what people face on a day-to-day basis. You don't think somebody would have appreciated or like somebody come to the aid of those individuals, to that individual before he did that? You think about it. I would say, ladies and gentlemen, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, jury, I want you to think about it. You're riding the subway. You see some commotion going on. You don't know what's happening.
And you bring up the statistics, John. You bring it up.
Yeah.
There's so many attacks, so many felonies. Felonies on the subway is probably higher than above ground, right?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, so I can't speak to that.
Well, I'm saying you look up the numbers.
Right.
You could say, or you might not know the percentage, but you might know a raw number. All right, a raw number.
That's true.
The grandma get pushed into the train. That happened. I know personally somebody whose son was attacked on the train by a group of individuals. You don't know what that next level is, right? Her son, defended himself well enough, even though initially he was arrested. When the video showed, good thing they had cameras,
Correct.
right, to show.
But the one guy who basically said, he fabricated his involvement, and all of a sudden he has a change. I mean, be consistent, man. Be honorable.
Yes. You want your 50 minutes of fame for bullcrap. Big thing, John. I'll read it all before we comment on it. Right? I'm gonna read it all. Let's go with the good news first. Our young man here in New York City, Brooklyn, has been reelected as the House Democratic leader of Congress into the Democratic Party. So now he's still the minority leader. What he stated is that he's going to be focusing on party's image, focusing on diversity and younger leadership. He's taken on a firm stance against extreme policies from the GOP while advocating for progressive issues such as health care reform and climate change. His leadership was tested during intense negotiation over spending and budget deals in the House. Jeffries has been positioning himself as a potential future speaker, but the rise of more moderate Democrats could challenge him. 2 things about that. Congratulations, first of all, to Hakeem Jeffries.
Of course. Congratulations to the Congressman, Hakeem Jeffries, yes.
Yes. I think that our Democratic Party is moving too far left. And the rise of people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, has changed America to the far left. I think there's a place
I think what's happened. I think you're right. You're right. It's too much, too woke, too much wokeness. Everything's woke. Everything's woke. You can't say Merry Christmas. You gotta say Happy Holidays. I mean, people just want to live a normal life, and that's it.
You know, yeah, to me that's a problem. You can't, right, you can't say Happy Holidays. Yeah, I mean, you can't say Merry Christmas, right? You know, it's funny, I was talking to somebody earlier today before I got on air, and the person is like, you know what, sometimes you can't even say good morning because you're going to cause an argument, you know. And it's true, it's real, it's too woke, it's too far left. So I'm begging our congressman to try to get us back to somewhat moderate in our thinking. And also, we got to look
Not
into
moderate, reasonable. Be reasonable. Reasonable.
you know, you're too far left, man. Like everything, like, oh, you shouldn't say that, and you shouldn't say this. Oh, come on. Sometimes let a person speak their mind, and then you work from there. You know,
All these different pronouns that you have to learn.
you know, you're at work, you say to one of your staff members, you know, that's a nice dress. Oh, it's sexual harassment, you shouldn't say that. I don't know, like, seriously? You know, John, I'll tell you a joke.
Yeah.
So a woman charges her boss for sexual harassment, and the boss is like, you're charging me for sexual harassment, but
Right.
we don't even talk, we don't even associate. And she goes, that's why. You talk to everybody else and compliment everybody else, but you don't compliment me. That is the world that we're in. Right? That is the world that we're in. That we sue and press charges for everything in the court. Is like, oh, you know, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, like, if you tell a woman or a man that the way you dress makes me uncomfortable. Some men come to work with tight pants with their private parts, you know, printed out. As a woman, you tell that man that he can't dress like that because it makes me uncomfortable. It's a problem. Why? Because I should be able to wear whatever I want. The woman comes in a miniskirt and like, please don't wear, and have her blouse open. And you say to her,
blouse and skirts.
Yes, blouse and skirt. And you say to her, hey, you got to button up. Oh, you can't tell me that. But the moment you look over and see it, why are you looking at me? It works both ways.
It does, my brother. It does.
Right? And that's, you know, it's real. And so we're too far left. And that's a problem for me. Or what do you say? Woke, cancel culture. All right.
No, we don't want to hear. We don't want to hear an opposing opinion. So that in and of itself makes us more well-rounded by hearing other ideologies, policies that may be that different than ours, but how can we find some unity in some of them?
Right. Right. Creating that common ground, common responsibility, right? And respect. Right. How do we do that? So that's a problem. So let's go to a hot topic. So I'm going to read it off to all of our listeners out there. So Netanyahu, right? So top war crime court issues arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, an ex-defense minister, and a Hamas leader. So the International Court the ICC issued arrest warrants for several high-profile figures, including Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and a Hamas leader, over alleged war crimes. The warrant stems from actions taken during the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, specifically related to the civilian casualties and attacks on civilian infrastructure. Israel obviously rejected the ICC's jurisdiction and maintained that its military operations were lawful. The situation further complicates peace efforts and international response to the conflict in Gaza. The arrest warrants reflect the increase in tension between international law and state sovereignty. So here I'm going to pose all three questions to the audience, to us, to have a conversation. Question number one: what challenges does the international community face in enforcing war crime charges against a sitting leader? Two, how does the issuance of an arrest warrant to political leaders affect the prospects of peace in conflict zones? But I didn't see. Let me read the third question. I'm going to put a fourth question in there, John. What role should international bodies like the ICC play in holding leaders accountable for actions during war? But I'm going to put a big one in there. And the big one is, how does the ICC enforce these arrest warrants? So let's start with that one first. How can they enforce it?
Well,
Or is it symbolic?
well, first things first. First things first. And to enforce, you're going to need somewhere to put them. That's why you saw when Tom Holdman became the border czar, private prison stocks increased. Think about that.
Okay.
Think about that.
Because they expect to have more arrests. Prisons. I'm surprised they're not looking to build more prisons.
Detention centers for those who are illegal, who are going to get caught up with some who children are born here who are U.S. citizens. However, they're too young to fend for themselves. Their parents may be illegal, so they got to go back with their parents.
Yep. Curious. Under curiosity, would they be allowed back in? But going back to the conversation, right? You're right, right? But going back to the conversation is, I personally, and I would love Andre to be part of the conversation, but because he does some of this historical complex stuff, but the ICC does not have the manpower.
Oh, Papa.
Come.
Look.
Come.
Look. It's Papa.
Okay.
It's Papa.
Yes. So the ICC doesn't have the manpower,
Papa.
right? Look at yourself, right? ICC doesn't have the manpower to carry out any arrest warrants. How are they going to get to the leader? How are they going to get to Benjamin Netanyahu and the Hamas leader? So to me, why bother? Right? Why bother? What are they going to do? He's going to end up in a country and then they're going to go for him and arrest him.
Right.
They're going to try him in absentia. And then what?
They try you and they hit you in your pocket, brother.
Huh?
They'll try you and they'll hit you in your pocket.
But how are they going to do that?
Very simple. Get judgments against you.
All right, so they make judgments against you, but you're the president of a country. How they plan to get restitution?
You can execute at some point in time if you come back in this country. If you want to do anything, if you want to buy anything, those judgments are good for 20 years, 20 or 30 years.
So the International Tribunal can what? Say that you have to pay. Let's say you're guilty of murder, and your sentence is death, or your sentence is 30 years in jail. How do they enforce that?
How do we enforce what now, Roger? What are you talking about? Go ahead.
How does the ICC enforce? Let's say they said these are guilty of war crimes.
Right.
You got to go to jail.
Right.
Enforce it.
What about it?
Tell me how you're going to enforce it.
Enforce what, Roger? What are we trying to enforce now?
The sentence. You're found guilty of war crimes, and you get a number of years, right?
Well, you can stay, Roger. They can stay there. You can stay there. They can stay there to
where?
complete their sentence, and then they can go into these detention or can go in these
But again,
facilities.
my question is, I mean, how does the ICC enforce the guilty sentence conviction of Benjamin Netanyahu saying you have committed war crimes and we sentenced you to 30 years, to 5 years, to 2 years?
Well, I mean, it has to. With that, it has to. The international community would get involved with something like that. You got NATO and all that. They definitely be involved in that.
All right. I just don't see it enforceable, right? So what challenges would you say the international community face in enforcing? Well, we're talking about that, right? For sitting leaders, like removing the leader. Would you? United States is not gonna go to Israel, who's their ally, right? Who's their ally, and take out Benjamin. They're not going to take out a sitting leader.
Right.
I think they did it twice in
No, they're not going to do that, Roger. But Roger, what's the whole point with Netanyahu? What's the point?
I'm just saying that they have issued arrest warrants for him. That's the point. So to me, it's like, what's the point?
Okay.
What's the point of exactly, Amani? What's the point? What's the point of issuing an arrest warrant if, especially as a sitting leader in a country?
Symbolic, Roger. It's symbolic. That's what it is. Symbolic.
So, why? So what does that do now?
There's no T. Symbolic, Roger. Symbolic. So at least put the other nations on notice that you can't go and do this.
But what do I need symbolic? I want the war stopped.
There's a little bit more than that. There's a lot of people who want the war to continue, my friend. So you're caught within the middle.
You really think people want the war to continue? Speaking of war, what do you
people want the war to be resolved, Roderick? What I think is going to happen?
No, I was going to ask you about Ukraine.
Trump is going to allow.
I was thinking about UK.
I believe there will be. I think Trump will do his best to try to work with them. I think that's what he's going to do.
All right. I think Trump is going to leave Ukraine out to dry. Mark my word. Mark my word. I think Ukraine.
I hope not.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's going to do.
I hope not.
He didn't have anything nice to say.
Well, if he does, that's what people voted for.
True. I think that's going to be your line for a good while. And that's what people voted for. And it's 100% correct. Today, an Alabama
University. Hey, Roger, hold on. I want to wish my daughter a happy birthday.
Go ahead.
I want to wish my daughter Kira a happy birthday. May God continue to bless her.
Nice. Happy birthday. How old is she now? You're getting older, man.
30.
30. Wow.
30, my brother. 30.
Wow.
30.
30 years old. How old is the youngest one?
Shit.
You don't even know how old your daughter is, John.
Interesting.
What is this? No,
Interesting.
no, no, no. No more candy. Put it back in the bag. That's
17.
huh?
17.
The one that went. That's the 30-year-old. That's the lawyer, right? That's the one. That's the lawyer.
Yep, that's the lawyer. Yep.
I think.
God bless, man.
I think she went to Swarthmore.
That's the middle one.
Oh, that's the middle one.
Yeah, she's still a sophomore. She got one more. This is her final semester.
This December or January?
January. No, May of next year.
Right. Okay, so the final year. Starting January, she's in her final semester.
Mhm.
That is sweet. Great to know that. I want to wish my Uncle Trevor my friend wrote, what irritates me the most is having gender neutral bathrooms, plus the new pronouns that we should use in the LGBT community. I'm irritated by that crap too. I don't use no friggin' pronoun. I could tell everybody that on the air, I don't use pronouns. All right. Well, so Caden Francis, right? He's a freshman at Alabama, University of Mobile in Alabama. Freshman point guard collapses and dies. Right? Collapses
What?
and dies. Yeah, man.
At what school?
University of Mobile in Alabama. Right? And again, we have this tragedy, right? He passed all the tests, so it's not like the school, did something that was unacceptable.
Right.
He was at practice doing a workout, and boom, he passes out, collapses. They try to resuscitate him, and he didn't make it.
Insane.
I agree. Goes back to sports. This is not the first incident. It's not the second incident. The school's gonna have to pay some money, right? The school's gonna have to pay some money. But my question and concern, well, first of all, condolences to the family. Especially the kid. I didn't get his age, but my assumption is that he's no more than 19. Right? I'm not gonna put him past 19. But think about it. When we think about these things, John, imagine we put our kids to school to get the damn notification that your child is no longer with us.
You know what? That's something I don't even want to think about, my friend.
Exactly. And I'm heavily concerned. I'm heavily concerned about come here, go to auntie. Yeah. Right. The other issue that I'm having is the need for our kids to play sport. How do we tell our children, right? How do we tell our children that if something is wrong, you're not, nobody's forcing you to play. So you need to speak up and sit your behind down if something is wrong with you. How do we teach that? that when I read that article, that's something I think of because my kids play sports, right? My kids play sports, so I try to get them to say, hey, I don't care what the issue is, I need to know. You might
Right.
whine, you know, with Grayson Cooper, right? With Grayson Cooper, I want to know what's going on. I want to know why you feel the way you
You
feel.
should. You should know what's going on. You should.
Exactly. You know. And so it just bothers me. This is I remember many years ago I was at where was I? At I was at Prospect Heights,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, by the way, happy birthday. I forgot to tell her. Shoot, I gotta call her back. Today's Yvette's birthday. I forgot to tell her happy birthday when I called. So happy birthday, Congresswoman Clark. Anita, also happy birthday to you. Jonas Wiltshire, happy birthday as well. Denasia, my former student, happy birthday today. James Duncan, the good old UFT rep, happy birthday to you. Jessica Richards, you know, my former Jessica could sing so well. I had her sing John at the Barclays Center.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
Open up the national anthem. It was beautiful. And Ashley St. Louis, Rita, Joseph Marthone. I don't know if you remember Joseph Marthone. He ran for Congress a couple of times out there in Queens against Gregory Beeks
No, I don't.
a few years back. So happy birthday to you. To my students, former teacher, Helena Stain. Happy birthday to that. And, you know, and as I mentioned, my brother's birthday, happy birthday to him. And Antoinette Fong, happy birthday. Joan Bakradine. I did not know that, but Joan Bakradine celebrated the birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to you. And that's those are my birthday wishes. Yeah, those are my birthday wishes for today. Wow, this guy's still on my feed. You know what? This kid was so young, so young. And one day in COVID, in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
COVID, they found him. They found him dead. 35 years old. He was my assistant, my dean at the school, and nobody know what killed him. He just died. What else is out there? I just got an email today, John. I didn't even finish reading the article yet, where our mayor is caught up again with the Turkish government and the Medicare fraud on a property issue out there in Bergen Beach, right? It's out there in Bergen Beach. So I'm not
I didn't
I
hear
don't know.
about that. What does it got to do with the mayor?
Let me see if I can summarize the article. I'm looking for it. I'm trying to see if I could summarize it. What do you think? While I'm doing that, what do you think of Dr. Oz's pick as what Surgeon General or head of Medicare? What do you think?
I mean, he does have the experience. So now from that, Roger, you know, what he wants.
You're breaking up.
This is who Trump
You're
wants,
breaking,
and
you're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're
I
breaking
said,
up.
this is who Trump wants. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
These are the consequences of an election. Yeah, he won, so he appoints who he wants to appoint. That's it. What's up,
So
Grayson?
Hello, hi everybody. I'm Grayson.
How's the Bonnies?
I left the body sadly, but yeah, I'm his
Who are you playing for now, Grayson?
Huskies, SFS Huskies. I'm
Where
was
they?
this season?
Okay.
I'm his fourth son. My younger brother's right there. I'm his fourth out of fifth.
Yeah, John is asking some questions. Mr. John is asking some questions.
How was your season?
I played well. My team played well as well. We won some championships, and we
What
lost.
position you play?
I play first and I pitch.
Nice.
He actually pitching wise, actually they finished the season very strong. I don't think you didn't lose any game in October. Oh no, except for when you went to you lost in November when you went to Florida.
Mhm.
Right?
We did lose in October, by the way.
Who did you lose in October? You lost in September.
EP.
You lost to EP? Okay, I don't
Where do
remember
the
that.
Huskies practice at?
So the practice at Red Hook. I'm actually thinking about changing his team. Not changing his team, but changing how the dynamics of his team. I like what another organization is offering. Right, I like what another organization is offering in terms of field and because this is the big year that they go to Albany. I mean, not Albany. They go to Syracuse this year, right? And so I don't see the article, but here we go. So yeah, so he actually he did really well this year. Towards the end of the year, and
Good.
he pitched great. He pitched great too. He pitched a few great games. He's doing really well, John. All we have to do is
Yeah.
foster that love and raise some money. Uncle John is going to help him out and help him to raise some money as well. So here's the article. It says that Eric Adams, the Erdogan family, and a Brooklyn medical fraud hotspot. One Brighton Beach fraud connects political donations, Medicaid scam, and Turkish charity. The unfolding international scandal around Mayor Eric Adams has fixed New York's
What does
attention.
you know what's mind blowing is you don't want to really contribute or be involved in politics, because if you make a contribution to a candidate that you like, they will scrutinize it to the point where they make it seem like it's criminal. It makes it seem like he's the one who was in bed with these people who are committing Medicaid fraud. Not at all. This is, and Roger, this is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean they're going back.
Even though they make allegations, and you get labeled, and therefore it's very difficult to try to even fight it and come out. I mean,
yeah, he made a. Can you hear me, John? You're breaking up.
Yeah, I hear you
John.
loud and clear.
So this is something back to 2018, where one person, Alexander Borman, who later pleaded guilty to using the location as a base for a $26 million fraud scheme. So connections that like Eric helped to break ground for it. So right. So also this goes back to 2014. And to me, during Turkish ownership of the building, directly providers from one medicated plan. Okay. So what the hell does this like? I'm looking at this and I'm saying Eric's name is attached because he was there at the groundbreaking and their Turkish government and their that's what I'm looking at the article as saying. Right. So it's like anything Turkish campaign, Eric, they're connected and they're different issues. Right. And that's not fair. Like you and I are friends, right? And you and I have been friends for a very long time. I would say that you and I have been friends for over 20 years, right? And closer friends in the last 10
Right.
to 15.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I know what John does every day. It doesn't mean John knows what Roderick does every day. If they accuse me of sexual harassment, John would be shocked. If they accuse John of sexual harassment, Roderick would be shocked. Does that mean that Roderick and John are conspiring to do sexual harassment? I don't understand that because we know each other. You're doing something negative. That means I'm doing it too. I donated you.
Exactly.
I came to your events. So
Guilt by association. Yep.
I mean, that doesn't make sense. And I think, you know, I have fundamental issues with that. I have fundamental issues with the constant connection negatively to many things that are happening. I don't think it's fair.
Always the negative connotations. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
And I don't think that and it's kind of like they want to paint a picture, right? They want to paint the picture, right? And that's not fair. I want to go to education for a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just offering it out there that this is the time. You should have actually started already. That you're looking into colleges, middle school, high school, startup school for your children. There are many private schools, public schools, charter schools that you can go to. You have to do your research. Here are questions that you need to ask. Question number 1, what is the graduation rate of that school? That's a major question. What is the suspension rate? And what you want to look at, right? Not just suspension rate, but you want to look at what's called the OARS report. OARS report numbers kind of indicate what type of incidents are happening. What you find is that many principals will lower the standards. So they a real true level 3 or 4 infraction. Level 4 infraction, ladies and gentlemen, is fighting, biting, bringing a weapon to school, harassment, bullying, threatening behavior, being a nuisance. Level 5 is gang related, hitting the staff, bringing a weapon, rape, conspiring with a group of people to commit a violent act, those kind of things, right? Got to look at how many you can't know who the students are, but you can know the numbers, right? Go to the school and look at the dismissal. If you look at the dismissal, you see chaos or no chaos. What you see
All the
at
time.
dismissal, right? What you see at dismissal is a microcosm of what happens in the building.
True.
Okay?
Fact.
Right? Parents, don't listen to guidance counselors that tell you that you're not financially capable of going to a school. If your child meets the criteria to go to that school, financial aid will be provided. You will then
Okay.
make the decision what you want to do. Right? So if your kid has a 95 average, a 1500 on the SATs, they qualify to go to Harvard, especially if they play a sport. Don't let nobody discourage you that say
Yeah.
Harvard costs $75,000. Same thing for high school.
What was that case in which the guy made up the phony transcripts for the kids?
Yeah, I did
Someone wanted
remember.
to.
I remember that case to show two same students. The same student changed the name, and a couple of things on the transcript for the school, right? But going back to that conversation, that people have to know, hey, my child qualifies for school. Do your best. Do your diligence. Stop just waiting on the school. Do your homework. John's daughter went to Harvard, Swarthmore. I went to Haverford.
Right.
My wife went to Binghamton. All great schools. All the opportunities, right? We got accepted. John and I, we got accepted to different colleges, right? Right. We made a decision about where we want to go. And so we had
True.
choice.
And what we wanted to study.
Right. Don't let anybody pigeonhole you into saying, oh, you should only go to a community college, or your child
No, not at all.
go to Medgar, right? Maybe the child can go to the military, which is a great option, spends 2 years,
Right.
and get some
Nothing wrong
money
with that.
and move on. Look at all of your options,
Right.
right? Look at all of your options and determine what you want to do, right? Is that
I would agree.
All right, so
Yeah.
this is the time, right? Colleges are looking. Some of the major colleges deadline is December 1st, so that might be a little bit too late. But you have January 1st, January 15th, February 1st, February 15th for the top-notch colleges. I want to also explain one thing, John. Rolling admissions. Rolling admissions means first come, first serve. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that it also means the same thing for financial aid as well. First come, first serve. So the students who apply first, enroll in admissions, they get the more money. You apply last, you get the least money. So something
You get whatever's left over.
Yep. So something to think about. So if you really want to take a look at this school, go to the school. Right. All right.
Yes, my brother. But on that note, my friend, I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Faith, family is what's important during this period of time. And sometimes pause for a second and just reflect how blessed you are. Although we go through a lot of trials and tribulations in life, but we are truly blessed. So I want to wish all the listeners a happy and healthy Thanksgiving season.
With that being said, let me just
Mr.
add
Daly?
with that being said, just adding my 2 cents. Just remember, this month is Pancreatic Awareness
Oh,
Month.
shout out to Dr. Brian, Sophie, Andre. Just a shout out. I want to wish y'all guys a very fruitful Thanksgiving.
Excellent. Right. I just want to remind our listeners that this month is Pancreatic Awareness Month. I'm wearing my purple shirt today. Wore it yesterday. Just to say,
Did you wash it at least?
not even close. Just to say, remind everyone, there are a lot of lung cancer. So it's the leading cause of death among cancer. Secondly, I want to remind people of something very important, John. But before I do that, just remind people about Saturday at PS 135. That's at the corner of Schenectady and Linden Boulevard, right across Utica Avenue. To come out all day, listen to Busta Rhymes and his performance. I want to finish up with this. 988, mental health awareness. The holidays is a tough time for many people, especially seniors who are alone and seeing their family and their friends going by. So ladies and gentlemen, reach out to somebody who you know is alone. If you're alone, reach out to somebody else who's alone. Invite them over for dinner, or do a little potluck, because you don't want them to be alone. You don't want them to be sad. To each of us, to all the villagers out there, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Do something that enjoys the day. Enjoy your day. We all need our own mental health. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Big up to all of our villagers out there. Big up to our co-host, John Sampson. Our co-host is Dr. Joanne Bryan, our executive producer, Andre Doman, and Sophie Willisey, our producer. God bless, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy.
God bless.